What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and in this video I'm discussing, is Iain Valliere out the 2022 Vancouver Pro? Shaun, his heaviest ever. Can he beat Derek Lunsford if he does the 212s? Aaron Singerman speaks from prison. Sergio Oliva Jr. huge in Dubai. And Nick Strength and Power shouts me out on his channel. All that plus much more coming up in this video, guys. I hope you enjoy it. What's up, desktopers? Now, before I get into this one, I want to encourage you guys, if you guys like and appreciate this content, please give this video a thumbs up, smash that like button, also subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up from myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. It takes 1 second, so giving that thumbs up means a huge amount to me. So if you guys can do that, it's much appreciated. But let's get straight into this one. And when I said plus more news at the start of this video, I've got some really good news when I say plus more. So Keone Pearson, 8 weeks out, he almost looks ready. He's looking fantastic in his return to the 212s after he sort of, I suppose by his own admission, disappointed the last time he competed in the 212s at the Mr. Olympia. And he's looking for redemption, no doubt, and he's looking fantastic this far out because, conditioning has always sort of been the thing for Keone. Sometimes people mention his legs a little bit. They're the sort of only two knocks you can have on this dude's physique because he's spectacular. He honestly looks so fantastic. And in this side chest, he's looking pretty ready. He looks how he looks probably 2 weeks out ordinarily. So I don't know if this is just a technique he's using just to get in shape really, really early and then just slowly dial it in. But I think it's the wise thing to do for Keone Pearson. As long as he doesn't flatten out, then he's good. He looks fantastic. And he doesn't look like he has a physique that really flattens out anyway. So push for conditioning, and I think he's going to be his all-time best when he competes. I believe it's going to be at the Texas Pro, or maybe it's just after. I think it might be the Tampa, now I'm thinking about it. But very, very excited to see how Keone does in the 212 of this year, and hopefully he can bring that into the Olympia as well and get his all-time best placing in the 212s. But let me know what you think in the comments below about how Keone Pearson is looking right now. In our next physique update, we have Quinton, who's looking fantastic in his most recent videos and pictures posted up on social media. And he's been posting a lot. And I think that's a good sign because he's confident in how he's looking, because these recent physique updates, if Quinton can bring it in sort of a fuller, harder look compared to what he brought last year where he placed second, this dude's going to win a show and he's going to qualify for that Olympia. He is looking fantastic and everyone knows this guy's talents. He's got huge quads, very small waist. He's a tall guy. So when he stands next to some other guys, he sort of looks better again. And just the structure and shape of Quinton is absolutely outrageous. And I think the way he's looking now, he's 8 and 9 weeks out in these recent updates. I think he's going to do very, very well. I cannot wait to see how he does this year. And I saw this photo as well where Quinton's posing next to a few other guys. And the guy on the left is Rickey, Moten, who is an absolute beast. He's making his transition from classic physique to the 212s, and he's added a ton of mass. He's a really, really nice guy. I've interviewed him before, and I cannot wait to see how he does in the 212s because he's really transformed his physique. He actually was a guy in the classic who was sort of, one of those top guys, continuously placing, top 5 in the Arnold's, top 10 in the Olympia in the classic, and he sort of went under the radar a little bit. So I think when he breaks out into the 212s, people are really going to take notice of Rickey Moten and what he's doing, because I'm very, very excited to see how he matches up. And he sort of has that classic shape as well. Bringing that to the 212s, I think it's going to do very, very well. But let me know what you think of Rickey Moten and Quinton and their most recent physique updates. Now another guy we're getting a physique update from, and that's Shaun, 212 Mr. Olympia from 2020, I believe it was, because Derek Lunsford won the 2021 and took that title away from him. But Shaun wants it back, no doubt, because he is 211 pounds in his most recent physique update. It's basically just a shot from a transition. He said, "Giving you all sneak peek, sitting at 211 pounds, heaviest I've been to date." So that's exciting because he looks absolutely enormous. And at 211 pounds, it's not like this guy is super fat, because he competed last year in the 170s when he did that Legion and actually took out Sergio Oliva Jr. and Regan Grimes, among many other guys as well. And he doesn't look like he's added, 40 pounds of fat or, 35 pounds of fat. So obviously there's some water there. Obviously there is some body fat there, but he's looking fantastic. And he's one of these guys that improves year after year. Maybe last year was the first year I saw his physique not improve as much, but I still think it's pretty level peaking. It's just that Derek Lunsford basically got better. So I'm very excited for Shaun, and it'd be very interesting if Derek Lunsford does suck down to the 212s, if Shaun makes pretty decent improvements I mean, he's got a lot of room to move in that 212, and Derek Lunsford doesn't. Derek Lunsford was close to the weight limit last year, so how much better can he be? Maybe he can be a little bit drier in some areas. He's going to have some more muscle maturity and all that sort of stuff. So Derek Lunsford would still have to be the favourite. But Shaun Clarida's coming, and I think Shaun Clarida, if Derek Lunsford competes, could still regain his title because it wasn't a blowout by Lunsford last year. Everyone thinks like that because it's, so far away now. I'm like, Derek Lunsford won. Look how crazy he's looking, but he would have to, diet away a lot of that muscle. And how does that look? We don't know. I mean, we saw it last year, but he looks bigger now, and he's going to have to diet more of it away. Will he come in looking flat? It's a distinct possibility, in my opinion, and I'd like to see Derek Lunsford move up to the Open, but this recent physique update from Shaun Clarida would make it exciting if Derek Lunsford actually does decide to do that 212 as well. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Could this version of Shaun Clarida that he's bringing this year, we don't know what it is yet, could it beat Derek Lunsford if they both do the 212s? In our next story, I'm asking, is Iain Valliere out of the 2022 Vancouver Pro? Now, while I talk about this, I'm going to pop up some new physique updates from Iain as well, so you guys can see that. But on a recent episode on Fuad Abiad's channel, Iain basically said he's hesitant to do the Vancouver Pro now after seeing the Toronto Pro. Now, the reason that is because obviously with Canada, we've got a vaccine passport and all that sort of stuff. So it might actually limit the amount of competitors and the quality of competitors that come from the US to Canada or any other country to Canada for that matter, and sort of made him hesitant. So here's what he had to say on Fuad Abiad's channel.
Was because of the vaccine passports.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of
honestly, and this sounds kind of rude, but I mean, watching Toronto Pro today made me hesitant about doing Vancouver.
Why? You don't want to go and beat nobody?
I don't want to go to a show and be like, like it just be me and nobody else,
Yeah, well, that you have a serious potential for that, because I think a lot of Americans aren't coming because of the vaccine passport.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, a lot of those people are European, because a lot of them probably have a vaccine passport from being in Europe.
Yeah, it's making me hesitant about it. I might change to something right around the same time.
Orlando.
It's too soon, man. That's in like 4 weeks.
You're fucking ready. Don't worry about it.
I could be ready in 4 weeks, but I want to be at my best, not so-so.
Well, what would if you didn't do Vancouver, what would be after that? Texas?
There's Texas, there's Chicago, there's Tampa. There's still like fucking 10 shows, man.
So I find this pretty interesting that Iain would actually be hesitant. So it says a lot about Iain's character and what he wants to do on stage, because he doesn't want to show up and beat no one. Now, I don't think there's going to be no one in the show, but it may be a limited lineup. It might be less than 10 guys. It might be 5 guys. You don't really know. And it sucks for these Canadian promoters, and I feel for them a huge amount. And hopefully Iain does support that show and steps up on stage. And he hopefully does a few other shows as well. Like he hopefully does this, hopefully he does Texas, and maybe even Tampa as well. Because I think that, Iain can rack up a few more pro wins and really add to that resume. And he said that as well. That's what he wants to do. He wants to, get 10 pro wins by the end of his career, and maybe even more. And, if you had 10 pro wins in your career, that's a huge accomplishment. And he actually did mention that, he doesn't want to do this, for too much longer, maybe 2 to 5 years and then retire. But he sort of left that a little bit open to what he might actually do, because I don't think he wants to limit himself to saying, I'll compete for 3 more years and then, then he continues to compete, and people say, I thought you was retiring and all that sort of stuff. So, and in the recent physique updates, Iain is looking fantastic. He's still improving, and I'm very excited to see what Iain looks like on stage in 2022. And let me know what you think. Should Iain Valliere do the Vancouver Pro and support that show, or should he skip it if the lineup is really weak? Let me know in the comments below on that one. Now, in our next physique update, I think this is the last physique update of the video, but we have more news stories. Sergio Oliva Jr., this was posted up by Buys and Tries. I don't know if Sergio originally posted this himself. I did search for his social media and I could not find it. I don't know if he's deleted his social media or what, but he's looking absolutely enormous in his most recent physique updates, and he's not out of shape whatsoever. That front double bicep, with his photo on the wall in the background, he's over there in Dubai, which is pretty cool to see. Obviously, he's training out there, looking fantastic. I don't know what he's prepping for, but he's looking huge. I cannot wait to see if he competes in 2022, but the gains he's made over there, it looks very, very impressive, and we could see an all-new Sergio Oliva Jr. on stage in 2022 if he does decide to compete. In our next story, we're discussing Aaron Singerman, the owner of Redcon One, who's in prison right now. Basically, we've heard the first from him from prison in a new column on a muscular development, and I'm going to read a little excerpt from that, and you guys can let me know what you think in the comments below. He says, I don't feel sorry for myself, and I'm not sad or mad. I'm using my time to better myself, and I plan to come out here a better person. I feel very fortunate for the life I have and all I have waiting for me when I get out. I'm currently in Pensacola in a prison camp, but it took months to get here, and they were pretty terrible. For 28 days, I was in an 8x10 for 23 hours of a day. My first of 4 quarantines I've done in prison. Thankfully, that's all behind me. The one thing I'll tell you about prison is it makes you grateful for every little thing, from getting a new plumper pillow to an extra call to a loved one. I can't even imagine the gratitude I'll feel when I'm able to walk out of here into the arms of my wife and boys. So it sounds like Aaron had a pretty tough time, at least at the start of his prison sentence, but thankfully for him, that's all behind him, and I'm sure that he's just, counting the days, literally, until he can get out and obviously be with his wife and family, and regardless of what he's done in the past, he's paying for it now, so I'm sure he's going to serve his sentence, he's going to do a lot of productive stuff while he's in there, and when he gets out, I'm sure Aaron is going to be a beast, and he's going to be super, not only grateful, but I think he's going to be super driven as well. Because Aaron, he's been through things previously in his life, and this is just another speed hump for Aaron. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Aaron does when he gets out of prison and how he can better himself as well. And I just want to hear all the stories. And it's cool Muscular Development are doing this, and he actually has a say, and he's got a voice, I guess, while he's in prison. So I can't wait for these columns. So check out musculardevelopment.com. I'll put the link to this full article in the description below if you want to read the entire thing. And it's not too long either, so it's not something that you're going to have to read, and it's going to take forever. So before I wrap up this one, I've got a couple shout outs, and the first one is to Nick Strength and Power. So on a recent video, he basically used my response from Tony Huge to Dennis James and featured me on there and gave my channel a shout out and basically recommended my channel, which was a huge highlight for me because Nick Strength and Power is a guy I looked up to coming up in the bodybuilding media side of things. Not initially, obviously, because I was first with RX Muscle Australia many, many years ago, but restarting and doing YouTube, I've got Nick Strength and Power to thank for that because I saw how big he became, how many views he was getting. I was thinking, what does that mean monetization wise and how much you can make, and sort of worked it out. And I sort of lowballed it at first, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. And I thought if he's monetizing this way and able to put content out, do something he loves, talk about bodybuilding to a screen and talk to these, well-known bodybuilders and sort of have that inside word, it's sort of fun, sort of exciting. If I can do that, wow, that'd be a dream job. So I've got Nick Strength and Power to thank for a lot of that. So thank you to Nick Strength and Power for shouting me out and recommending my channel. It means a huge amount. Here's what he had to say.
On Desktop Bodybuilding, which is a really good bodybuilding channel, I highly encourage you guys to check it out. He talks about the fact, Tony Huge does, in an interview with Xavier, who runs that channel.
So thank you very much, Nick, for that. And I've got another shout out as well, and it's to a desktop bodybuilding viewer and an IFB Classic Physique Pro, Tyler Johnson. He actually won that Toronto Pro in the Classic Physique and qualified for Mr. Olympia. So huge shout out. I posted up a few things on my story, desktop bodybuilding story on Instagram about Tyler Johnson and how he's looking, and he's looking fantastic leading into it. Made huge improvements to his physique, and he deserved that qualification for the 2022 Classic Physique Olympia. So shout out to you, Tyler Johnson. So that's it for this video. If you guys like and appreciate this content, please give this video a thumbs up, smash that like button, also subscribe and hit the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every video that goes up from myself, Xavier Wills at Desktop Bodybuilding. Also head to hdmuscle.com, enter the code DESKTOP. You'll save yourself 10% on their amazing product line and also their apparel as well. So make sure you check that out. Use that code, and if there is a discount already on there, use Desktop, you'll save yourself an additional 10% off as well. So that's it for me, for Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding. We are out.